Which I've always been that kind of guy. Like when somebody's like, people talk about Chinese food being something and Taco Bell is this, and I'm like, that's the best cat I've ever ate. Like,
well, it tastes good.
Yeah.
They figured it out.
Yeah.
Good morning, guys. Welcome back into the channel. As always, your host here, Clinton Yoder.
I'm your co-host, Corey McClendon.
And we are glad you chose to spend a few moments with us here on Yoders Talk. We're excited to get another episode going. We are getting close to the end of Season 5 already. Mm-hmm. That is crazy. It just blows me away how fast this thing's going. It is Season 5, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's Season 5.
Yeah, okay.
It's exciting.
I believe it's like episode 41 or 42.
42, yeah. We're getting close to 50. And we got big news for 50.
Oh, big news.
But we ain't going to tell you. You'll have to wait and see.
There's all kinds of things going right now.
There's is.
So many little cool projects we got going. We just can't wait. And we're not going to tell you about them.
Yep. You just have to wait and see.
You have to wait.
But there is
there's
lot of
tons of stuff.
A lot.
Yep.
We were out and about filming till like 7:30 last night.
Yep.
So
it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Yep.
But this morning, we have an honored and special guest.
Yeah.
And means the world to us. It's a gentleman that was on Season 1, kind of got the thing kicked off. I think if I'm not mistaken, it was the episode that really kind of jump-started Yoders Talk.
Yeah, he was on Season 1, and then he kind of made 2 appearances in 2 other episodes.
Yes.
Which, number one, this guy is somebody I call one of my great friends. And so without further ado, please welcome Micah Camper, our great friend that is a missionary in Uganda. We went over there and spent 10 days with you over there, and it changed our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We can't wait to go back. But
we missed this year.
Yeah.
Which that was a very big bummer.
Yeah, it was.
But
disappointing.
It was.
Just absolute.
I think I was kind of devastated that we couldn't go.
I was in a foul mode for about 7 days.
Yes.
About it.
So
people are like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I can't go to Africa." God.
So, but yeah, Micah, welcome on. Brother.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely.
And I'm super happy to be here.
So, quick question before we go too deep into this. How is it to be back in the States after 2 years of just, being in Uganda? I mean, it's got to be kind of a little bit of a change.
Yeah, it was a little bit jarring. Now, anytime you're out of the States and then you land in Atlanta and then you go through TSA, it's like it's just an instant slap in the face of culture.
Yeah.
And because when you're going through there, the reason I say that is because it's got to be one of the rudest TSA.
Oh, yes.
I mean, and nothing against Atlanta or the airport, don't revoke me from being able to fly through there anymore. But no, it is. It's just like a known thing. When you land there, it's like, take your shoes off. Take off the jacket. It's like okay, oh my gosh.
Trying.
No, when we got here, it was kind of a little bit jarring because, we drive on the other side of the road in Uganda. So for 2 years, I've been driving on the left side of the road. So now, like when I'm pulling out, I gotta think about it, a little bit. And so that was different. But then also, it's the people are different. You go into a gas station. I was talking to Corey earlier. When you go into a gas station or whatever, people are just like depressed, and you're kind of used to seeing a smiling face, and because it is different there. People don't have a lot, but they are happy. And you come across people who are a little depressed, a little bit, I'm not saying they always have a smile on their face. I mean, there is sadness, but for the most part, it's just different.
Yeah, and I recall that too when we were over there. It seemed like, everybody, like they were just everybody's excited to see you. Everybody's excited to have a conversation with you, and it didn't feel like anybody was really, here it seems like we have everything at our fingertips, and yet we're the most. Well, I think the statistics shows the United States is one of the most depressed countries in the world.
Yeah.
With the most stuff.
I think that was like just spending the 10 days and then coming back. That you could definitely pick up on something. And like, of course, there were some things like that were great, like just being over there for 10 days and getting back and having a cheeseburger. That was amazing.
Yeah, that's nice.
But like, there were some things like when we came back, like the attitudes, like just the ungratefulness, like started popping out to me, and I was like, wow, that's didn't really ever pay attention to that, and then like you start picking up on stuff like that.
But you quickly, I have to admit, you quickly fall back into that.
Oh yeah,
into that,
you do. Into that same
now
rut.
I'm like,
yeah.
And you asked me earlier, you were like, are you ready to go back? I'm like, yes, but at the same time, now I am kind of used to seeing it, being around, but yeah, a good burger, a good sit down at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Taco Bell was my craving for 2 years.
Speaking of, I saw something and I almost bought it for you, but I was like, I went to Taco Bell yesterday, right, before we recorded.
I did after.
Did you know they have a Baja Blast pie that you can buy?
See, that's where it goes a little too far.
I'm like,
did you try it?
No, I mean you have to buy the whole pie. Like it's not like you can get a slice. It's like $20 to buy a whole pie. See, and I'm like, you know what? Hey, I might buy that for Thanksgiving.
I
like that pumpkin pie out of there.
My go-to at Taco Bell is 2 beefy 5-layer burritos and a Baja Blast.
My man.
That's it. 2 beefy 5 layers and a Baja Blast.
Yeah.
And when I got that for the first time, and I've been into it, I think I put it on Instagram because it was a monumental moment in my life, and it was amazing. It was.
Was it as good as you remembered?
It was. And I was really worried because while we were over there, after a while, your taste buds start to get acclimated to more clean food, and somebody had sent us some Pillsbury, what was it, like muffin mix or whatever that the kids like, and my wife made it, and it tasted like chemicals. The same stuff we had been eating before we came. It tasted like chemicals, and I was like going, if that burrito tastes nasty,
it's gonna be so sad.
It's gonna be a knife to the heart.
Yes.
Yeah,
but it wasn't.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, that might tell you that. Hey, Taco Bell doing some good things.
Yeah. I think they got their stuff together.
Yeah.
I think their beef is not dog food.
Yeah.
I think
the rumor, which I've always been that kind of guy. Like when somebody's like, people talk about Chinese food being something and Taco Bell is this, and I'm like, that's the best cat I've ever ate. Like,
well, it tastes good.
Yeah.
They figured it out.
Yeah.
So.
Man, well, before we dive in too deep, you wanna hit Sean with the riddle?
Yeah, I got one here that I think should be very easy. I decided I'm gonna go easy this morning and see if he can get it.
Give him a softball.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you a slow pitch softball right down the middle here, and let's see if you can hit it. Now, I think everybody else is gonna get it like that.
You want me to reserve just a little bit?
Reserve just a little bit. And let's see what Sean can do here. So, I have 2 banks but no money, a bed but never sleep, a mouth but never eat. What am I?
A river?
Bam! Wow.
That's impressive.
Sean got one.
Got one. I was there.
I knew.
It was rolling in my head.
I was like, wow. Like,
he got access to your phone or something. Are you tipping him off?
Something. The whole deal is
that was way too quick.
Yeah, he has not got a single one of them yet since we started. And
you said banks, and I was like, river, and then you said mouth. I was like, it's definitely a river, and then you kept going. I was like, I'm just gonna say river.
Well, that's impressive.
That was the reason he had you at banks.
Yeah, he had me at banks.
That's a brain, dude.
No.
No, even hey, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. Look, like that's why we do this. It's just to see Sean's wheels turn, because me and Clinton find it hilarious, and we hope the audience does too. But really, that's a byproduct to us. We just like seeing Sean
Like over
turn.
there, his brain just locked up.
Yeah,
That's the first one you've gotten.
Yeah, I'm clipping that.
Okay.
that's all right. Would you rather question and everybody, answer this. And hey, if you're watching this, put your answer in the comment to this. Would you rather always know what's going to happen next in your life, or always be able to change one decision from your past?
One decision's not enough.
I'd made a lot of bad decisions. in my
Yeah, that's
life.
what I'm saying. Like, one wouldn't change a whole lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got one. I would have bought about 20,000 Bitcoin back when they were real
Well,
cheap.
yeah, that would change.
That would change a lot.
That's a big one.
That would have changed a pretty good bit.
Then you wouldn't need to know what's happening next. Cause
Yeah, it wouldn't matter because I'd have
You just
Yeah, but money ain't everything though.
It's not.
It's not.
It does help.
It does.
I love when like some people say that, like money doesn't do that thing. It's like, look, dude, when you got $1.35 in your checking account and there's 5 days to payday, hey, money does help out a little bit. I've been there in my life. Golly.
No, I don't know. I mean, knowing what happens next, that could be kind of depressing, especially if it's something negative and you know it's coming up and you can't do nothing about it. Or okay, let me ask you this: can you change?
Yeah, kind of.
Can you
pivot?
or is it going to happen no matter what?
Well, I can only speak from my experiences. I've seen things coming down the pipe, and I still do the same thing. So I don't know that would help
yeah,
me
I
too
think you
much.
would be in constant emergency mode
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
at all times. Like, oh my gosh, the worst thing's about to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you would. Yeah, if you can't change it, then I'd want to have that one.
Yeah,
Go back and
yeah,
make a different decision back here.
yeah.
Because when I say that about Bitcoin, I was this close. Like it was back in like 2013 when it first come out, and there was kind of a splash about it. And I was like, I was going to the gym. I remember I was turning to the gym. I was like, had my phone out and everything. I'm gonna buy me some of this Bitcoin just for the whatever of it. Then it hit me. I was like, that's stupid. I'm just following the trend. Everybody else is doing it. It ain't that when it's like that. Normally nothing ever happens. This is gonna be a waste of money.
It's the
15
biggest-
years later,
it's the biggest. now.
Bitcoin's, I think, 108,000 a coin right now. It's ridiculous. And you could have bought 1,000 of them for under $100 back then. So anyway,
Yeah, it happens.
yes, it happens.
Well, Micah, first of all, how long have we been friends? For like
Man.
ever? It feels like that.
At least 10 years.
Yeah.
At least.
I'm gonna be honest. When
not more.
when you first told me you were going to Africa, I was a little. What in the world are you doing? Type situation. But the one thing, and I've said this publicly before, and I think I've told you this, actually getting to go over there and see you walk in a calling and do that, man, like, so proud of to call you a friend and seeing what God has done in your life and what he's doing in those kids' lives.
Mm-hmm.
We think a ton of you. It's always you guys are constantly on our mind. We'll come in here and we'll say like, hey, did you see what 130 posted or Micah posted, like, and stuff, and those kids are constantly on our mind. Like down in my office, I have pictures from the trip. I have a big map of Uganda in my office. Like, so explain to us just the difference, because for some people when they've not really been out of the country or been on the mission field, explain just in your words kind of why is that so special for people? Like, why is it so impactful?
Why is Uganda
Yeah.
so impactful?
Well, like when
this way?
people from here go over there and the impact, because it seems like everybody that I've ever spoken to that's went over to a country like that, they come back feeling, totally different. I mean, I challenge people, if you could go every year for a week into a place like that, I think it would change your life.
Yeah, I think there's a humbleness of, there's a lot of people who they go on a trip like that, they think they're going to help them, and it turns out the people there helped. That you go over there thinking, okay, we're gonna build a house, we're gonna build a school, we're gonna paint, somebody's, I don't know, we're gonna do some work and we're gonna really change somebody's life. But you leave with your life changed because you do see what they live in, you see their lifestyle, you see what they eat, you see how they get around, you see their life, and when you leave, you're like, and then when you see all that, then you see that they're happy, they're joyful, they're full of life, they wake up every morning thankful for a breath, and we're over here, sometimes very depressed,
yes,
and very and we have everything, we were just talking about that, but I think people leave humbled and they leave changed because of that, but also on the flip side of that too, you make the best friends that anybody could ever ask for, and you leave really with a piece of your heart there on the ground.
I think that's the biggest thing for me is like thinking back, even 2 years. What was it? 2 years now?
Yeah. Well.
No, it'd be about a year and a half since we've been.
Yeah.
Yeah, about a year and a half. They're still like ingrained in my mind, leaving some of those orphanages and some of the children. Like, I deeply desire to go see them children again. I see their faces. I don't know all their names. There was tons of them, but they're like ingrained in my mind forever. Just how excited and how, coming up to you asking you when you're going to be back. It breaks your heart because there's a chance I'll never actually see them again, that particular child.
Yeah.
I don't know that, right? Hopefully I do. But it's heartbreaking having to leave them because you see you make friends within moments, it seems like.
Yeah.
They're just, it's a special connection these children have with you, and they just love you. I mean, they just do. Like,
I joked that when we came back, I was like, I think those kids like me more than my own kids.
Yeah.
Because like I say, take that back. I mean, my boys do run up to me and give me hugs and stuff, but like that was the feeling. Like, you get like overwhelmed with this like just love, and at first, like when you first, like I remember our first stop, I didn't know how to kind of process it. And like I even looked at you and I was like, "What'd I do?" And you're like, "Just love them, man." And I was like, "All right, dude." Like,
yeah, you wouldn't if you walked into a school in America.
Yeah.
I mean, people would look at you kind of weird if you would respond to the way you respond to them, just because.
Yeah.
But they desire that. They crave that. You can tell it. So.
Yeah, and there's like so many cool little things of like. That like I was looking at memories other night on my phone, because my phone, Apple does this thing where they send you like these emotional like little videos
ruins your whole day.
Yeah, 100%, especially like when you have like a loved one that's went on in those, like, and you're like, well, I was just a casual Tuesday, now I'm over here crying.
Thanks, Google.
And so, like, that came up on my memories. And so, like, me and Lauren are watching that little clip it put together of, like, the Africa trip. And I was like, golly, I just had, like, such a good time. And, like, Jeremiah, the kid that me and my family sponsor, like, he was on there and stuff. And we talk about him. My oldest son asks about him all the time. And, like, so it's just so impactful to go over there. Because you're 100% right with what you said. Like, you think, like, when we left, we were like, hey, we're going to go over there and we're going to make an impact. And, like, we hope we did, like, through the conference that we were honored to get to speak in and just being over there. But like the biggest impact was for us coming back. Like it totally changed how I was a dad. It changed how I was a husband. You know, like Lauren even said when I got back, she was like, "You're different." Like, and she's like, "It's not a bad thing. Like, it's a good thing, but you're different." And I'm like, "Yeah, like it's awesome." And you know, then I'm like, "Let's, you know, all go and let's all be different." You know?
and I think that's why I said earlier about it'd be amazing if everybody could go once a year for a week to, it don't have to be to Africa, but just to a country that's less fortunate, you could say, that, you know, has doesn't have things at the fingertips like we have.
Yeah.
And I believe if everybody in America would be able to do that, the country would be a complete different place.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think when you go places like that, Guatemala was like that for us too. You know, it opens up a place in your heart of compassion that you didn't know you had. You know, I've seen guys that aren't traditionally just like, you know, gonna start crying, and they go over there and they leave it with tears. You know, and you know, just real, you know, put walls up type guys that go over there and they break it down. You know, and I think that's good. That's a good thing.
100%.
That's a good thing to come back with that type of compassion and that type of grace for people, because I think that's the type of grace Jesus has.
Oh, amen.
You know,
Amen. So is there anything really interesting or whatever that you want to share that's happening over there right now, or that's, you know, I know like the orphanage that we're involved in, you know, give us a little, if you have an update on that place. I'm just curious.
Yeah, they're doing really good. The kids are in the dormitories. I've taken two teams over there just to pray over the place and pray over the beds, and they're loving it.
Good.
They're having a good time, and it is kind of a distance from the school, so they all have to walk. Y'all remember driving out there? They all have to walk from that dorm to the schools, then back to the dorms, then back to the schools. And the thing about school in Uganda is sometimes they could have classes that start like at 5, 6 in the morning, and then they could get a long break during the day, but then they got classes at night, so they'll have night classes. So yeah, they are running back and forth, but they're super happy and they're super thankful for it. They've got water out there, they've got toilets out there, they've got showers, they've got, I mean, it's a good spot for them, and they're doing really well. And Bishop Expedito is very happy, you know, and you know, especially to have new friends. You know, and so he's doing well. And
yeah, he was messaging me on Facebook the other day, just randomly, want to know how I was doing. It was like,
yeah, he's messaged me several times, and I love that. I love when I get, you know, sometimes on Facebook, like I'll get like crazy messages from not just like, that sounds like I'm talking about like people from Africa, but like just random people.
Yeah.
And I always enjoy seeing like one of my friends in Africa send me a message. I'm like, oh, like I hop in there and talk to them for a little bit, and it's cool. It gives you a little bit, you know, gives you a little pep in your step for the day.
I started with this channel and everything. I had went off of all social media, but with the channel and everything, I started another Facebook page. And one thing I learned is that the moment that you accept one friend request from the people in Uganda, you will have about 7,500 of them within a moment.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting, but it was just going over there to that orphanage. It, you know, it impacted us in ways, and it still impacts us today. Like just the company, like as a whole, we discuss it all the time. We talk about it all the time about, you know, and we pray about, you know, all the kids in Africa, but especially that there's a special place for us for that particular orphanage and school.
We have up in all, I mean, there's one up in here right now, and in my office there's one. There's all over our company. We have these big canvases. Well, there it is right there, of the actual ground that the dorms were built on, just as a constant reminder of like, hey, we're doing this for a reason, you know. And that's something that I gotta give credit for that was something when we to you, because as soon as we said hey we're gonna get involved here, you were like, all right, well we're gonna have something in just about every common place or office that so we can see where we're going with this and but all the kids, like I know there's tons of stuff, because when some people don't understand, like Uganda's a pretty big country, like it's a pretty good size. It's like roughly what we looked up at one point. It's like roughly a little bigger than Alabama, kind of into Georgia, like if you were overlaying it on a map. But it's like 52 million people live in that country, and so it's very densely populated. You know, but you guys are not just involved in one area; you have several key areas. And I know we got to tour several different schools. And so just tell us, you know, what's 130 like for the audience. Maybe there's somebody out there that says, hey, like I'm looking to get involved with something. What, you know, give them a little, hey, here's what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah. So 130 is a child sponsorship network, and we have 5 different locations. So there's Mbarara, there's House of Hope, then there's Light Academy, and then there's the trade school Kakoma, Uganda Trade School Kakoma. 2 of those are schools, and then the trade school is like a, you know, it's about 35 girls, and they're learning to sew. And our hope there is that they will graduate and intern with a sewing company, a tailoring tailoring's really big there. And then from there go and start their own business, so it's self-sustaining. And once they start their own business, all the girls are very gung-ho about, we want to sponsor somebody in the school.
That's
so
amazing.
It just, you know, through the money that they make, you know, they want to take a percentage and sponsor a girl to come through
That's awesome.
the same schooling that they went through. And then we have, of course, Pastor Expedito in Ibanda. That's where you guys had built the dormitories. That's the school we were just talking about. And then another one that was built in Kasese, that's called Lighthouse Primary School. Kasese is where you guys went on safari.
Yeah.
So when you guys came, I think there was any buildings there.
I think there was some buildings that they just
Okay.
weren't finished yet.
They had just dug the well, I think, just in that previous week they had dug the
there was a borehole.
or not the well, the
It was a borehole for a toilet.
so that
The toilet is like, it's a hole in the ground. When they say it's a hole in the ground, the hole you see is about this big. The hole that's under that
it's massive.
is miles deep. And so anyway, so there was a few buildings there. I think there was a toilet. There was a dormitory being built, and then like a kitchen, I think. Now there's a huge perimeter wall all the way around. There's another dormitory. There's an administration building. There's a temporary kids classroom. We haven't built a permanent structure yet. And then places for the teachers to sleep. So, and that school's open. So the kids are on the ground there now. So there's a lot. When you guys come back and you see the place, it'll be a totally different place. Because I remember when it was just grass. There wasn't anything there. And now it's just cool to see it now. But so yeah, we have those 4 or 5 locations, and overall there's 1,500 children. There are about, I'd say about 900 to 1,000 that are sponsored, and then another 500 that are not sponsored, more give or take. And so our goal right now is to get as many of these children sponsored as we can, because if we can get all these children sponsored, we can take care of these schools. And so it's a. And when you can even sponsor one kid, I mean, you're taking care of a lot of kids. So that's 1,500 kids across 5 different locations. And one of the things that we're learning about Uganda, you were talking about the population. It's actually 50% of the population of Uganda is under the age of 16.
Wow.
50%. So it's one of the youngest countries in Africa.
Wow.
So there are so many children, and a lot of the issues, whether it's war, refugees, or, a couple gets pregnant and the dad just jets. That's kind of a common occurrence. Or they just give up the kid and they can't take care of it. We actually, at Light Academy, there's two people get them confused. There's Lighthouse and there's Light Academy. Light Academy's in Etara, which is close to where we live. That's the one you guys went, and I think y'all carried the jerry cans.
Yeah, where we just about died.
Yeah.
That place.
That's
yes.
about where I met the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. By the way, have you let anybody else do
Oh
that?
yeah, it's like you have to do it. And
How
write a
how
passage.
how did I mean, are we by far the worst group that did it?
It's just not easy.
Just shoot me straight. Shoot me straight.
So now we've kind of prepared everybody for how bad it really is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
For you guys, we didn't really prepare. I did it myself before you guys did it.
Yeah.
But I carried one small one
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
the hill, and then you guys are carrying
We're
like
we're just
two
gonna
big ones.
Yeah, we got this. Like we're this.
Yeah, we just toughed it. Like we were so naive. We were just gonna tough it out.
we
like,
just overcommitted.
What the problem was for me is I still thought I was 17 in my head. Like that's really the problem. Like when I look back on it, and I was like, dude, like you used to run stadiums and like flip a tire, like and you were like you, this is nothing.
You do this.
Like
Just to
it's
give
just
everybody a lay of the ground, the school is on the top of a hill. Then you walk down a nice little path
oh, it's
Yeah.
great.
You're
down
like,
to the bottom
oh,
of the
this is
mountain.
amazing. Yeah.
to a lake.
Nice breeze.
And mind you, we're at about 5,000 feet elevation.
Yeah.
So there's that you're battling as well. So you get the water, you carry the empty cans down there. You're thinking, this is fine. It's going to be full of water, but it's fine. So then you fill them up, and then, like, literally,
Like the first 20 feet.
Well,
just
not
is
first
hard.
20 feet, you're dead.
But
Yeah.
but you look up and it kind of fakes you out because it starts out where it ain't really that steep.
Yeah.
So you're and then all of a sudden it's like, and I mean you're dead.
And you can see the target. Like, you can see the school at the top
whole
of the mountain.
time.
And you're like, you're not that far.
Like that's the like. So first of all, it's by far one of the funniest moments on the trip, though. Is we're down there, we're all just hanging out by a lake while they're filling the water bottles up.
You're singing.
Dude, I was singing
Conway Twitty.
I think I was either singing Conway or
Alan
Jackson.
Jackson, yeah.
Because a dude on a boda pulls up, he's blaring Alan Jackson, which I think is hilarious. Like I'm over there, like this is awesome, and like they hand me the jugs, and like I turn around, I start walking, and like immediately within like 10 to 15 steps, I was like, we have a problem. Like this is a problem here because you're already winded. Like, and we gotta hop to go.
What really makes it bad though is when you got 10-year-olds walking beside you and offering to carry it for you, and you're like, there's no way. No.
Like,
But they do that every day.
Yeah.
And so you're like, yeah. So that's always cool when we get to go out there and do that, because it's, it helps them out a little bit. That's one less time they got to go down there.
Yeah.
They do it multiple times a day to get the water, for drinking and for cooking, and they boil it so it gets all the impurities out and all that. But but the reason I zeroed in on that school, I can't remember exactly why I zeroed in on that school, because
we went down a rabbit
sidetracked
trail. Yeah.
with the water. Okay, so they are kind of the biggest need right now. Pastor Stella is doing such a great job taking care of those kids. So there was a kid that was from that school. His name was Peterson, and we spent all day trying to find this kid. Actually, it wasn't even him. We ended up coming back with him, but we were actually looking for another kid. And we found this kid's parents. Government's like, they want, before you take a kid in and you say it's an orphan, like you can't just say it's an orphan. You have to make absolutely sure that nobody is alive to take care of this kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there is anybody alive, they have to give you permission to take it. To not take it, that sounds bad, but to have it come live with you
and support the child.
Yeah, in the school. So we go to the local town government. This is an all-day situation. We were deep in the village. Like, I've never been this deep. And so we're on roads I didn't know existed, like didn't know could exist. Mm-hmm. So we finally found that the town government, like the guys that told us, like, okay, this kid has a dad that is still alive. So then we find the chairman. There's a chairman for everything. Mm-hmm. So we find the chairman of that village. Then we find him because they were saying, well, the dad lives like in a hut behind the chairman's house. So we find the chairman, take the chairman to his house, and then he's in this little, what you would imagine seeing in Africa, like a legit, it was like a circular shaped hut with grass thatch roof. Mm-hmm. Drunk out of his mind. You know, he was drunk but coherent, you know, and so we were talking to him like, hey, is there anybody else alive? No, it's just me. He had a couple of other younger, probably teenage boys that were there with him. And he said, no, you can take him because I can't afford to pay for him to go to school. And in fact, there's another kid at this school up the road. Take him too because I can't afford to pay for him. So we came out there for one kid and then came home with Peterson. And then the other kid came later. But, you know, I say all that to say, you know, it's that's kind of the situation, you know, that these kids are in. That's the situation they're coming out of, and he's not the only one like that. Mm-hmm. So Light Academy is one of our biggest needs, and we're actually working to buy them some land to build them a new place, because Pastor Stella is taking care of all these kids in her church. Yeah, and it's like a barn.
Yeah, it's and the school is like, we would call them lean-tos. Yeah. Along the side. I don't know if it's been changed or anything since we were there.
It's kind of the same. Well, somebody made a big donation to pave the floor because these kids were sleeping on the dirt.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. Yes.
So they did pave the floor in the church and in all of those classrooms, because when it gets really dry and it's in the dry season, there's no rain, they come in and splash water on the ground. Otherwise, you know, all the dust is billowing in the classrooms from kids walking in and out. It's just dirt, so it's just getting dust all over everything. So they would rather walk through mud than have to, you know, blow dust off their paper and stuff. So anyway, so they we have concrete in all of those classrooms, and they did plaster. They put plaster on the classrooms
because it was back when we were there, if I recall right. When it would rain, I mean, it would come through the side of the walls, and it was. So, wow.
And then it's just washing everything away. At least now they can mop the floor, they can dry it, you know. And so, so that's a better situation. But we're in a place right now, because you saw how small their property is.
Yeah, it's tiny,
and they're really landlocked.
Yes.
So we're in a place right now where we're like, we'd rather her church stay there, and let's build a school for the kids somewhere in the vicinity. Maybe not there, but, you know. And so we're right now in the process of looking for land so that we can build them a new school and get them off their property. Because you're looking at almost 400 kids.
Wow. That's remarkable.
In that place. Now, not all of them stay there.
Right. Yeah.
Only, I think, 65, 70 kids actually sleep there. The rest of them are, you know, they have homes, people in the village. So now we're kind of finagling, trying to figure out, you know, what to do next, because she just keeps accepting kids.
She has such a heart for them too.
Yeah,
she just, you know, we were there for, you know, a few hours, and you could just tell that her love for them children is just unreal. It's just unreal. And what stands out about that place for me was, I think there was some donations for them to be able to get some meat. And this is what listeners need to understand is there's children over there that if they get to have meat, it's a luxury.
Yeah.
and they were so excited
Yeah.
that they went and bought some, I think it was some chicken or something that night, and they were going to have it. And so, you know, people think when we're talking about this that, you know, well, we're sponsoring a kid, you know, help them out. No, these children, like, meat's a luxury.
Yeah, it's huge.
Like, got to understand that your one soda a day less donation, you could say, of you spending that $3 at a gas station instead sending that $3 for this one child can make a massive impact.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, change the life for forever. I recall, to kind of put it in perspective, we went to that golf resort the last day. We went golfing, and we were sitting there after we went through we got a massage and went through the spa. We were sitting out there by the pool, and there was a gentleman that walked up that was from Uganda, and he just started having a conversation with us. And when he was a child, someone from, I think it was Iowa,
Something like that.
up north somewhere, sponsored him.
Yeah.
And he gave us the backstory and the journey of his life and the impact that person made in his life. And today he's a business owner, has multiple employees from Uganda, and he said everything goes back to that decision that lady made back when he was a kid to sponsor him. If that wouldn't have happened, he wouldn't be able to support other Ugandans like he is today. So remember that if you choose to, you know, sponsor a child, you're not only making an impact on that child today, but you could be making an impact for generations by you just deciding to not drink extra soda a day. I mean, really, that's as simple as it is. Really.
Yeah, because I mean, when you break it down, I mean, $30 a month. You know, that's not.
I mean, yeah, it's not even. I mean,
it's not. That's what like. That's. I mean, we've me and my family have done budgets before, and like, you know.
Oh, you did a budget before?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Sorry.
Funny. But you know, like, you look at like, hey, what we're gonna cut. $30 a month is not gonna make an impact. Impact on your budget either way, right?
Right.
And so that's why I love like what you guys are doing, because like that $30, that's the only transaction that I ever see come out of my bank account, and I'm like, okay,
That feels good.
Everything else, when I see Target pop up, and I'm like, we spent how much at Target? You know, that one gets me.
I mean, a
bit.
Walmart run in America to get a bag of groceries, you're walking out $50. You know,
I can't leave Walmart without spending $50.
It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's worse now than it was when I left.
you probably could actually see the difference. Like,
It's insane.
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
hurts.
we can't go anywhere.
right.
Yeah.
Taco Bell, for the love of God. I mean, I love Taco Bell, but
But
I can't get out of there for
it's
$20.
I got
$15.
I went in there last night. This what really got me. I got a Chalupa Supreme, and I'm thinking $2, $5.68 for one chalupa.
A quesadilla is like $6.99. I'm like, guys, like, you guys are supposed to be the cheap guys.
Yeah.
Like, cheap tacos. That's why we come to you. Like, I can go to a Mexican restaurant and get cheaper tacos, but
Maybe
you know,
Trump can make tacos cheap again.
Yeah,
maybe you can.
Maybe.
That's,
I don't know.
but
We're working on it.
well, hey, let's take a break real quick and let's hear from one of our sponsors. StrokesGained Hydration, great people. We love them. So check out this commercial.
Out on the course, hydration is the difference between fading and finishing strong.
That's why we use StrokesGained Hydration. Each stick pack delivers electrolytes and vitamins to fight fatigue and to keep you focused.
No sugar crash, just hydration with flavors that make it easy to keep sipping. Watermelon, lemon lime, and a new orange.
Fuel your body, sharpen your mind, and play your best game. All right. Well, definitely go order you some StrokesGained. Those guys are awesome. Well, Micah, man, I don't know where I want to go from here. Just there's so much to go into.
any new big plans that are going on over there? Like,
Yeah, so speaking of golf, StrokesGained and all that, there is an organization here local. I don't know if they're local to Colm. I think they're up in Muscle Shoals. But anyway, so there is a local organization called Sunflower Golf Foundation.
yes, I heard of
You
that.
guys
Yes,
heard of
yes,
them?
I have.
So they just did a golf tournament for us
Mm-hmm.
at Terry Pines. Went really good. That's where I tried StrokesGained. Anyway, so they're raising money for Light Academy.
Mm-hmm.
So Light Academy is kind of like they're really putting their hands around it. And but the cool thing that they're doing is they're actually putting together a trip of golfers to come from America to come over there. And we just did a golf club drive, like for children's golf clubs, like youth clubs or whatever. And they're putting those on a shipping container, shipping them over there, so they'll already be there. And then we're going to do a golf clinic at Light Academy.
Oh, nice.
That's
Just
incredible.
teaching those kids golf.
They'll
You know,
love that.
and here's the thing, and like you would think, do they even know what golf is? And they actually do. Like, golf is actually pretty big in Uganda.
Okay.
But it's known as like a sport that rich people play. You know, if you have the money for golf clubs, then most kids will never even get a chance to even touch a golf club. You know, because they're just. So we're going to take those over there, and they will belong to, you know, 130 for the school to use and all that type stuff. And they're going with a couple of golf pros over there, and they're going to do a little clinic for the kids, and then talk to them, and you know, share the gospel with them, and so it's really cool. That's going to be a really, really interesting, something we've never done before,
Yeah.
kind of outside the box. You know, doing a little golf clinic with the kids.
Well, it's cool because like stuff like that, getting them to be able to experience stuff that, you know, they like you said, some children will never touch a golf club. You know, we again, it goes back to this, the luxuries that we have in America that we just kind of overlook so quickly. That's going to be a big deal to them children. That's going to be something that's going to impact them, and a memory that they'll forever be able to have. And a big deal. You know, my children, they complain about that their golf clubs ain't nice enough. You know what I mean? And these children are, you know, excited to even get to hold one.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
I'm sorry, we need to go on that trip and not to give lessons or anything, but
To
maybe
get
to pick
lessons.
up some lessons. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to kind of go down a rabbit trail here a little bit. And I know, I don't know how close these countries are, but I noticed it's a lot on the news recently about, and I know it's been going on for years and generations, but there seems over in Africa right now, there seems to be kind of a push for persecution. Like there's like Sudan, and I'm not sure how close some of these places are over there. You see it like Trump's talking about it on the news and talking about there's Christians just getting absolutely, I mean, it seems to be worse right now. I don't know if it is or if it's just that the news is making it worse. But how is it? Is Uganda continue? I mean, when we were there, we felt, of course, you want to be careful anywhere you go, but it seemed to be a pretty safe country. Is that continue to be that way, or is that stuff leaking in more from the Congo, things of that nature? Just curious. And
We haven't seen it. There are, we haven't seen it in Uganda, but it is kind of landlocked. You got Congo, then you do have South Sudan. There's Ethiopia. Nigeria is a little further away, but it is kind of landlocked by some of that. But we never see any crossover. At least I haven't.
Right.
But there are a lot of, be careful how I say this, there's a lot of Muslims in Uganda. I would say I think the internet says it's like 30% Muslim, 35%. I think it's a lot higher than that. But there's not a lot of there's not a lot of, I guess, anger or,
Right.
terrorism or anything like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Most of the Muslims you meet there are like anti that stuff.
Right. Yes.
You know what I mean? And they would tell you, we actually condemn that
Mm-hmm.
that type of behavior. But yes, that is going on around us, but not in the country. We've never seen it. We've never had any kind of issue with that type of stuff. President Museveni probably keeps that stuff on lockdown pretty good.
Yeah, it seems that way because I remember a story I read. I think it was an article over there where there was some rebels from the Congo that had slipped in and done some evil things, and they said the Ugandan army or whatever. I mean, they were on it like that. I mean, they don't play around with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, well, that's good. I just seen it on the news recently, and when I seen it, I was thinking of y'all over there. I was like, man, I mean, we're talking Christians getting slaughtered by the hundreds, just, and we sit over here complaining that our tacos are cold.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Persecution.
Yeah.
We talked about that the other day.
We did. We talked about like sometimes when me and Clinton will go somewhere, we get on these like just crazy conversations. This was one of those days, and we were talking about like we were talking about end times. Is what we were talking about, and I'm under the theory that as you read the Bible, there's all kinds of schools of thought, right? Of the revelation or the revelation, because John just had one revelation. I hate, that's a pet peeve of mine. If you call the book of Revelation revelations, you're on my nerve. Okay. He just had one revelation. Anyway, but side note, but we were talking about rapture and stuff, and how there's a school of thought, pre-trib, post-trib, mid-trib, right?
They're all over the place.
And as I study, I'm like, I really don't know that the rapture is really a thing, like as I'm studying, and I've not studied it in depth, so somebody could come on here and be like, hey, Corey, here's A, B, and C of points, and if you make your points and it's biblically backed, I will concede. I'm just saying in my, but anyway, so recently, with all the stuff that's going on in America, everybody's like, the end is near, and like there was even a pastor, I think he was in South Africa, that said like Jesus is coming back in September or something like that, and I'm like,
and then they pressed him on it, and then he was like, and then he changed the subject.
Yeah, and like
we had a person on our social media account that literally every time would post something about this certain date, and then when that date came, they moved it like 5 days later, and then
like eventually he'll hit it.
Yeah. But anyway,
but so we were just talking about all that stuff, and me and another friend, Christian, were having a conversation one day, and it just, this thought popped in my head. I was like, I really feel like people don't understand how bad it's going to get. Yeah. Like when they talk about the end time prophecies and like the persecution that it talks about in there. And I was like, and especially Americans, like we don't understand the level of persecution. Like the American church sometimes feels like the AC goes out in their church and they're being persecuted. It's like, no, like you just didn't change your air filter.
Yeah.
Like, and the condenser froze up. That's not persecution.
The bad that is happening in America is the bad that's happening everywhere else is just now hitting us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, so that takes me back to a time I worked in a coffee shop, and a lady comes in. This was, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. She comes in and she was like, hey, can I use the Wi-Fi? And I was like, well, the Wi-Fi's not working today. And it had nothing to do with anything else other than we just had shoddy Wi-Fi. And then she's like, okay. So then she gets her coffee, she leaves, she comes back. This is a 100% true story. Comes back the next day. She's like, hey, can I use the Wi-Fi? Still not working. And I'm like, sorry, it's not working. She goes, it's just the end times. That was her response to there not being Wi-Fi. And I'm thinking, I see people every single day who don't have the luxury of Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
They walk outside of their hut in Africa and they're like, oh, the sun's out today.
Yeah.
You know,
Does-
like, they're
don't-
not going, I don't have Wi-Fi, so it's end times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With that, it just
It's been that way for years.
Yeah, it just reinforces that thought of
Yeah.
like the American church really doesn't know what that looks like and feels like. You know, you can boldly, you know, like with the Charlie Kirk thing, and that really sparked some of that. Like, oh, we're being persecuted. He was,
Yeah.
because he lived what he said and was doing the things that he needed to do. You know, Paul down the street that goes to church on Sunday, and Monday morning he goes into the fabrication shop and cusses like a sailor, and doesn't live out his life. Well, you're not being persecuted, buddy, because you got docked an hour because you showed up an hour late.
It was a decision.
That's
what our theory was like, our persecution in America is bad decisions we've made.
Yeah. It's like sometimes I think, like, because I have to think this way because that's just the way my mind works. I think about like how God thinks about situations, and especially like my situations. Like sometimes I'll make a stupid call, and my first thing is like, what is God testing me for?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, Corey, you just made a stupid decision.
Yeah.
Like, and now you're reaping the consequences for that decision.
Yeah.
You're not sitting here. You're not Job. Sitting here, loathing and
boils all over your skin. And
like you decided that it was okay to do this, and it wasn't okay to do this, and now you're having to face anxiety and perfect example. Got pulled over for a speeding ticket.
That's the worst type of persecution.
Yeah,
It really is. I felt
When you've broken the
persecuted.
law.
Okay. I had traffic court yesterday. Hey, the people of the county of Blount County, I love you so much. You guys are so amazing. Left out of there several hundreds of dollars less and traffic school I got to do. But anyway, and I was in a bad mood. Like my wife called me, she's like, "Hey, how'd it go?" Like, "It's fine. Like, I'm not in jail. It's fine." And she's like, "How bad was the fine?" I told her, and she was like, "Are we going to be okay?" And I was like, "I don't know. We may never financially recover from this." But anyway, like I was in a bad mood the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Like to say that I'm being persecuted, because of my faith or anything, that's not true. It's because I made a dumb decision, didn't watch how fast I was going on 65, and got pulled over for going 91 and a 70.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know it was that bad.
I told you it was that bad.
I don't remember that. No,
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Like-
In a 2000 Camry.
I
Okay.
had the same
That shouldn't be
reaction.
going 91.
Honestly, like,
Didn't know it could.
yeah, that's honest. I mean, that was my defense. Like, I didn't think that car could go that fast.
Just want to see how fast it would go.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it
so I think there's some of that when you go over to Africa, it kind of brings all that stuff into perspective, and you sit there and you're like, hey, like, I've got a really great life. And once you feel like you get to that spot, you're able to go transition that from, I've got a really great life. What am I doing with it?
Yeah.
How am I making an impact? And that's kind of the thing that, like, when I came back, I kind of had that moment of like, hey, I think I'm being a really great dad, but my boys know more about baseball than they know about Jesus.
Yeah.
And I think I'm being a really great husband because I'm loving my wife, but I'm not paying attention to her walk with Christ.
Yeah.
I think I'm being a really great member of the community, but I'm not giving back.
Yeah.
And I'm not actively involved in my church. I'm just going Sunday. So there's tons of stuff that for me it was life changing because it just woke me up to some stuff. And then of course, like I said this on the episode when we got back, like being around you was great for me because being around people that know the calling on your life, like, and know what God's put you on this earth to do, that's really annoying at times, because they don't let you walk away from those things. And so you've always been kind of one of those people in my life that does that. So when we're over there, you're like, hey, you're going to give like a message while we're over there. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And you're like, yeah, you're doing it. And so
And for the listeners, he can preach really good.
Yes,
So
he can.
but it's, you know, that's the thing is like, it's just impactful. So the biggest thing that I would tell our listeners, if you can go on a trip, go on a trip. Don't got to be to Africa. We'd love for you to go to Africa, and I'm sure Micah is a great host, and Lindsay, his wife, is amazing, and it's awesome getting to see what we saw. But
didn't even mention them. Golly.
what, your kids and your
Yeah.
wife?
Husband and father failure right there.
It's fine.
Anyway, go ahead.
They know you.
Yeah. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Lindsay, and I have 3 kids, Eden, Highland, and Lennon. They're amazing. Anyway, go
They
ahead.
really are.
Continue.
All good.
Yeah, saved it. Sean will edit it and put it
At the
in
beginning.
first.
Yeah.
It'll be like, hey, this is Micah Camper, and they'll just cut hard, and then just be like, hey, I'm, go right into it.
Sorry, rabbit trail. Go
No,
ahead.
you're good. But yeah, go on a trip, and
Yeah.
if you can't go on a trip, get involved
Yeah.
financially. Like
Yeah.
it's a great thing to do.
Yeah, 130 Network has really, I mean, just what y'all embody it's just amazing. You can see there's a lot of organizations out there. I'll just be honest that you sometimes question, what they're doing with everything. But 130 Network has, us being involved, how open y'all are. Again, like I said, there's organizations out there that you wonder if your money is making an impact like they say it is.
Yeah.
But y'all are so open and y'all build a trustworthy network, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anybody listening, you don't have to worry about, is my funds actually making an impact? Because I heard a story the other day of a gentleman that went on a trip, and this is very sad, really. I won't mention the name of the organization. I don't want to put anybody down, but he went on this trip, and they got over there, and the main individual, I guess the I don't know, administrator or whatever of the organization, what he was going around. This was over in somewhere closer to, not in Russia, but one of those countries over there, and they had the photographers and everybody going around, and they would pick up a child, take a photo with it, set it down, and then talk about how bad the odor of the child was. And the whole time this person was over there, the only thing they were doing was getting shots to go back to America to make more money. But there was no, the gentleman that went with, he said he was devastated.
Yeah.
And it's made some organizations look, makes some people question, well, is my donation really actually making an impact, or is it just filling the administration's pocket? And y'all do such a good job. And I just want to, Kip and everybody over there, how open y'all are with everything. It's just, it's amazing, and it's an organization that I would recommend anybody to get involved with. So I just want to, condone y'all for being that way, and I appreciate that.
that. Yeah, and Kip and Cheryl Potter doing an amazing job with that stuff. And what I think is awesome is you guys, as a podcast, but also as a company and a business, you guys getting involved in sponsoring, and you sponsor children, you've built dormitories, you've sponsored missionaries. You guys sponsor us. Thank you. You sponsor missionaries, I think, in Costa Rica, right? Is that
Actually, Thailand.
Thailand?
With
Okay.
Thailand, yes.
So, you guys are sponsoring missionaries, and you're giving your employees purpose. And so I would encourage too business owners to get involved with. Doesn't have to be us, but anybody that you feel comfortable with, because when your employees come to work and they're feeling purposeless, like, what in the world am I coming to work for? I'm just pushing a 9-to-5, blah blah blah. No, look, what we're doing here, not just building buildings. We're not just building barns and barnuminiums and whatever it is all y'all do. I don't know exactly, but we're not just doing that, but we're actually we're impacting the world with these funds.
Yes.
It's not just going to the top. It's going out.
Yes.
And so, and that, I really believe that gives employees purpose, it gives the company purpose, and it gives it a reason to live.
Yes.
You know, and
It's so many times businesses, that don't have a purpose bigger than themselves. We call it, we talk about all the time, lead with purpose, and everybody has a divine calling. The businesses have a divine calling, as long as they're willing to listen to that calling that God has put on their life. And we believe as an organization and as a team that the next big, you could say, revival is going to come through the workplace. And sometimes it starts by just getting people's minds shifted that what they do has to be bigger than themselves.
mm-hmm.
That's, to me, that is the beginning of pointing people to who Jesus truly is. Sometimes it's hard to, in a business, especially in America, because of how careful you got to be to say things. You can't just come in and, we do, we don't care, but a lot of businesses won't come in and, in a sense, share Christ with their employees because they're scared to. They're scared of what the impact's going to be. Yeah. So if you're one of them people, you need to just not be ashamed of Christ. You need to just do it. But sometimes it starts by just the organization getting involved in a mission, and the team around them starting to see the change that can have in people's lives, and I guess show them Jesus through them. Show your team Jesus through them things, mm-hmm. or through the process of helping others, because that's who Christ really is.
Mm-hmm.
And then it opens up questions. It opens up conversations with your team members, and then you can have them deep conversations about Christ.
Yeah. Well, I think so many times people.
I hope that makes sense. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think so many times people think that when you're in business, like you want to have this seclusion from what I believe, and whether it's a relationship with Christ and things like that. And the one thing that I can say is, everybody thinks like when you're going and sharing Christ that it's a 5-point message to a person in a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That works sometimes. Let me tell you what works every time: living it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Living a life that shows Christ and shows that Christ has made a difference in your life. That's going to lead more people to Jesus than ever having a conversation of like theology or all that stuff will come,
mm-hmm.
right? But like I've had more conversations with people saying, "Hey, you're different. Why are you different?"
Mm-hmm.
And you say, "Well, I'm different because Christ made a difference in me."
Mm-hmm.
And they may go, "I'm good," and back off. Let them back off.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be hit in the head with the Bible, right? Plant the seed in their heart. They'll go away. It'll come back up. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're consistent, you're doing the things that you need to do, you're making the change the Holy Spirit's revealing to you, it's going to come back up.
Mm-hmm.
And once it comes back up, hey, be open, be honest, share your faith.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the problem that I see a lot of times in Christians. They feel like, oh, I've got to give this 5-point sermon of the theology of the gospel and things like that, and you need to share the gospel when prompted and when you have opportunities. But the biggest thing that will turn people away from Christ is you give that 5-point sermon and you tell them about the gospel and then you don't live it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they don't see the change that's actually happened in your heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
You shared something with me, Micah. You may not even remember this, but we were walking on the golf course the last day we were together over there in Africa, and something you shared with me, and it's impacted me today still. And we were talking about sharing Christ with others, and you told me that something that you have done and I have done in my life now, and that is having your testimony is really your best way of sharing Christ is through your testimony. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned about preparing yourself to be able to share, I guess, different versions of your testimony, a short, quick version or a more in-depth version. Mm-hmm. It's because a lot of people when they ask you about Christ, if you can actually give them an experience that you had, is sometimes is the biggest impact.
Yeah.
And you shared with me to, in a sense, practice your testimony, like prepare it, have it in your mind so well that when that opportunity comes up, if you got 10 minutes, share the little longer version. But if you got 45 seconds to a minute, have a version of your testimony, because that will impact people more than trying to preach a sermon to them.
Yeah. And having that, because I've got a 5-minute version, I got a 20-minute version, I got an elevator pitch, and so having that available. But I think, and you were talking about living it, you were talking about not beating people over the head. Where I think people feel beat over the head with the Bible is where people feel like this person's trying to convince them. Like, you don't have to let the Holy Spirit do that. You share your faith and let the Holy Spirit do that. You're planting a seed, and that's biblical. I can't quote it exactly, but
talks about like
Plant a
one
seed.
plants the seed, the next will come and water it, and then another one will come and harvest.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to, everybody feels like they got to harvest right then. If I don't do this, it's not going to get done. Well, who are you to say that? And so I went on a mission trip one time to Vietnam with incredible missionary. He was 75 years old, answered a call to missions at 65. He was 75, answered a call to missions at 65.
Wow.
Older guy, but just blowing it out of the water. And he took me to Vietnam to see one of his churches. We were sitting there talking to the pastor of that church in Vietnam. This is kind of a secret church type situation where they were having to, we're sitting here talking to the pastor, and the translator is like standing by the door looking outside, trying to make sure there's no police or nobody saw us go in there, and so we're talking to this pastor, and we say, how many people have you led to the Lord in your lifetime? He said, a couple thousand people at least. And he's an older guy. He's been around in ministry for a long time. And we said, okay, how did you get saved? Tell us your salvation story. And he said, well, it was somewhere in the 70s, sometime in the 70s. I was listening to the radio. Somebody was preaching over the radio, and they preached something that impacted my heart, and I gave my life to Christ just by listening to the radio. And I started thinking, number one, that's amazing. But number two, what about that guy on the radio that was preaching? Probably has no clue the impact that this one guy had in Vietnam because he decided to preach over the radio. That's not measurable at all.
Yeah.
When you're preaching over the radio waves, you have no clues tuning in. There's no chat. There's no, you know what I mean? There's no like, oh, I got saved today. Especially in the 70s.
There's no connection cards
that I know of. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is some dude who's just by faith preaching over the radio, and this massive impact's happening in Vietnam. He probably has no clue.
Yeah.
And so, but that guy did his job of planting a seed.
Yeah.
It wasn't his job to water it. It wasn't his job even to harvest. It was the one hearing the word, and then he went out. So I just think that's and sometimes you do get the opportunity to harvest and leave somebody to Christ.
Absolutely.
You do get that opportunity. You are the one that.
And I think
does
that's
the
a blessing
harvesting.
from God at times.
Yeah,
because,
absolutely.
Yes,
God chose me to be able to do that.
Right. Yes.
But if you never sow a seed, and going back to what you said, this is what I do. I have my testimony, short version and a long version, and I first of all try to start a conversation with somebody. Hey, where you from? If I have that opportunity, don't make it awkward.
Yes.
If I have that opportunity, hey, where you from? Let that lead into, you married? You have any kids? Maybe you're in a waiting room or something like that. Yeah, guys. Yeah, I'm married. Blah blah blah. And then where do you go to? You go to church anywhere or anything like that? Yeah, I go to this church, or no, I don't go to church. And then you can transition to that. Well, let me tell you what God's done in my life. And sometimes I've come right out of the gate where I just feel like I'm supposed to. Hey, I know this is crazy, but can I share with you something I feel like God's done in my life? especially if I don't feel like I have a whole lot of time to get there.
Right.
And I'll share the quick story. At the end of the testimony, you say, do you have a story like that?
Mm-hmm.
And usually, that sometimes they do. Sometimes they, yeah, I got saved, and then they'll share their testimony with you. And that's always a cool opportunity, because with that person, now they just learned a new tactic, you know. And,
yes. And it's a blessing hearing their sometimes just a blessing. It's encouragement.
It's a great conversation.
Yes,
and then, but every single time you don't leave that without praying for them. You know, hey, can I pray for you? And then if they say, well, no, not really. Now you have the opportunity to share God's story. So you shared your story, now share God's story. So that just, it's a little tactic of, you know, and I actually had somebody tell me this the other day. We were talking about the same thing, and they were talking about people who just walk around and say, hey, do you know Jesus? Like, when you say, hey, do you know Jesus? The first thing that comes to my mind, if somebody comes to me and says that, I'm thinking, well, what did you see in me that made me feel like that I need Jesus? You know, it's kind of offensive a little bit. Like, well, I mean, is it the way I'm dressed?
Yes.
Is it my tattoos? Is it what is it? You know, and that's the way some people may feel. They may take it the wrong way. But when you come to them and you have a antidote to a sickness, and you say, you know, you have these symptoms of this sickness, I have the antidote, and then you're able to share God's story, share the gospel with them, and lead them through grace and
using
kindness.
your personal story.
Yeah,
I think that's very impactful. Is when people, you know, you're actually giving them, you know, your personal experience. You're not forcing things, you're not forcing this onto them, but you're saying, look what it did for me, and I want you to be able to experience that same thing. So it's kind of like that story about Billy Graham. You know, it was a usher, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So the story goes, the guy that was telling it said it like this: like the most impactful person to the American Christian faith, we'll never know his name. And basically, there was a big tent revival. 2 teenage boys walked up, and they couldn't find a seat. And so they started to walk off. Well, this usher came and grabbed those 2 boys and said, hey, boys, we'll find you a seat. Like, come on. And sat them down and found a seat, sat them down. That night, as the preacher was preaching, those 2 boys came to Christ. One of them was Billy Graham. The other one was his best friend that helped plan all the crusades and stuff.
wow,
And so the story's not about Billy Graham. It's a story about the usher.
Yep.
yeah,
You know, the usher goes in there and just does his job.
yeah,
And sometimes we lose that fact of, like, sometimes we're just trying, our job is just to find a seat for somebody.
yeah.
Sometimes the job is, you know, smile at someone.
yeah,
Sometimes it's, hey, can I share my testimony? Sometimes it's hey man, let me, you know, you look like you're having a bad day. Like, talk to me about what you got going on. You know, and like stuff like that. I think so many times, like you said, Micah, we think we're the whole farmer. You know, we're supposed to plant the seed, to till the soil, you know, water the seed, you know, put fertilizer down, and then when it, you know, grows, we're like, oh, here we go. And there's times where you are that person, but the where I've gotten my life is like, God, I'm okay with whatever role you want me in. Just tell me.
There's a guy we had on our podcast, and the way he got saved, he said it like this. He said, I was introduced to the gospel by a Methodist preacher. I was mentored by a Mennonite man, and a Baptist preacher is the one that was there to experience when I gave my heart to Christ. What he was bringing a point out is that God uses every, you know, we're kind of on the denomination subject, which I don't want to go down that whole rabbit trail, but he was just bringing a point out that, you know, remember that you may be, you can be someone's, you can be a part of someone's journey to Christ, there's the different, you could say there's different steps. But what if you don't use that opportunity to, I guess, step in that moment, and Christ is going to, or God's going to find somebody to be able to share the gospel with, or to get my words out right here. But I guess what I'm saying is, don't be upset where you are in the story of someone coming to Christ. Just do the will of God. When he puts it on your heart to speak to someone, just do it and leave it to God from there. Don't try to be the savior. And that's the thing. We try to be the one to save people when Christ is the one that saves people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We try to be the savior sometimes. And all we're doing is getting in the way when we do that. So, but let's listen to sponsor from Farmhouse.
You know, Corey, there's something special about starting the day with a good cup of coffee.
Absolutely, Clinton. And around here, there's only one place that does it right. Farmhouse Coffee.
That's right. Farmhouse Coffee isn't just a coffee trailer. It's an experience. Their slogan says it all. We love Jesus, you, and great coffee.
And they live it out, too. Every time you stop by, you're met with a smile, a warm welcome, and some of the friendliest people you'll ever meet.
From lattes to cold brews, every single cup is made with care. And I can tell you, it's some of the best coffee you'll find anywhere.
Plus, there's something about the way they treat you. It's not just about coffee. It's about the connection, encouragement, and leaving you better than when you came.
So wondering where to find them? It's easy. Just check out Farmhouse Coffee on Facebook to see where they're parked today.
Exactly. Whether you're on your way to work, meeting up with a friend, or just need that little boost to get through the day, Farmhouse Coffee is the stop you'll be glad you made.
Farmhouse Coffee, brewed fresh, served with purpose.
Hi guys, welcome back in. Farmhouse Coffee, baby, good stuff. We
Very
talk about
nice
them all
Americano.
the time.
Look at this. They gave me a shirt today.
Got a hat here, man. Paul, you are amazing. We appreciate you more than you know. Check them out if you need to know where they're at. Look at their Facebook page, and they move around Coleman here and there, and just go get you some great coffee.
Go get some pumpkin spice, baby.
Man, pumpkin
He hooked me
spice.
up again.
Got you hooked up.
Yeah, they hooked me
That
up
goes
again.
out of season here shortly, don't it?
Yeah, I'm hoping maybe he'll keep it in stock for
Yeah.
me. Maybe just keep a little jug of that back there.
That's the whole reason we came back at the time we did,
Just for pumpkin spice.
so my wife can get pumpkin spice.
I like it. That's a smart man.
Notice I said my wife is
Don't
drinking
start-
pumpkin
Don't
spice.
start with me, man. I'm secure in my masculinity.
Over here drinking Americana, just straight up coffee.
Black.
Yes.
That's the way I
Look.
like it.
Hey, I'm like, dude, like we get on this thing all the time, but like I don't care. Like 90% of the time, I drink black coffee.
First ever episode, I think it was. We
Yeah.
were talking about pumpkin spice, and there was a guy got on the comments and just hurt Corey's feelings.
He did. It was like my first exposure of being out in the public and everything, and people like liking or hating what you say. And this dude like blasted me. He's like, I tell you what, if I was a man, I wouldn't get a pumpkin spice latte. I'm like,
That is
well,
hilarious.
I wanted to be very rude.
Well, if you saw my order at other coffee shops, I won't say their names because those are bad words right now. The only thing I'll say is Farmhouse Coffee. But if you saw my order at others, you would think the same. So.
Yeah. Okay.
It was so funny to see the reaction that Corey had when the comments, and then Corey reading those comments. It was such a crazy reaction to Corey.
You know what's funny about that whole thing though? Now today, like especially we do that inspiration or
Did you realize?
did you realize every single day? Did you realize so and so? And you can check it out on Facebook, YouTube, wherever it's at. And now I go down through them comments, and you get more positive than negative, but there's some straight up hate.
Yeah.
And I just have to laugh. It's got to a point now where I just have to laugh. Or sometimes I'm actually sad for the people.
It's for no reason as well.
Yeah, like
That one day cracked me up. You know which one I'm talking about.
Y'all should just read some of them.
We really should.
We need to one time. Yeah, just read.
Blotch the name out and then just
Yeah, just read. Because
Like, 'cause, honestly, they're hilarious sometimes. Like the ones that crack me up are like the conspiracy theory people.
yeah.
Like you're an agent for the government, and I'm like, I
live in
I don't
Coleman,
think I am.
Alabama, dude.
like I want to be like when does the check come? Like, like look, I mean, I ain't above selling out, you know, but in this economy, have you bought groceries lately?
But yeah, it's just some of the stuff is like, but you get to a point where you kind of just let it roll off. The sad ones are, and it's is the ones where people are bashing Christ and things and Jesus, things of that nature, and in that moment, I'll just say, I've got to a point where I just take a moment right then, and pray for them, pray for that individual, because they're experiencing something in their life that's making them feel the way they are, and it's sad, but a lot of times what I like to do is just reply back to them and say, hey, I'm praying for you, and I hope that you get to experience the same thing that I've got to experience, that Jesus has done in my heart, and we'll pray for you. Sometimes they'll respond back, I don't need your prayers, well, I mean, it's okay.
It rattles them to the core, and it's
and I don't do it to like get negative back towards them, but you're just being a nice guy. I want to just and I mean it, like I want you to experience what I've experienced, Christ in my heart, and so, and
it's the comments when they comment back to Clinton, like it's like, man, just don't comment back.
Yeah, at that point you get to a point where you just stop the conversation. It's not I'm not here arguing with you.
Yeah, we're all logged in.
Yeah,
and we're all like looking at the comments and stuff, and it's like, just don't comment back.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we need to close the episode out here. So Micah, 130 Network, can you kind of give us there's listeners out there that are hearing this that may want to get involved with 130 Network, and we encourage y'all. This is a call to action for y'all. Get involved with 130. They are an amazing network. But can you kind of give us a rundown of how they're able to get involved, I guess?
Yeah. So the biggest thing, if you want to sponsor a child, go to 130.org. That's ONE30 at. No, sorry.
We'll put a link. We'll put a link up there. Let's do that.
www.130.org. 0NE30.org. And you can give on there. You can click the children's tab and see all the photos of the kids and sponsor a child if you want. They're $30 a month to sponsor a child. If you want to sponsor us as missionaries, you can go to tribeandtongue.org. That's our website, and we are still looking for monthly support. So if you want to support us monthly, you can get involved in that as well.
Absolutely.
And it'll be the first couple links in the description.
Yes. We'll throw a link in there so y'all can just go directly there. So, but Micah, again, I want to just say that we're over here, we see y'all. We pray for y'all, and we love that we have had the opportunity to play a part in your calling, you could say.
Absolutely.
And I want to tell you that the passion that you have for what you do, we see it, and we're proud of, we haven't been friends but a few years, or really knowing each other but a few years, but just proud. We're proud to be involved with someone that has such a passion for what y'all do. Mm-hmm. I mean, you sold out for Christ. I mean, the definition of it. I mean, you've given everything for that, and it's impacted me in a positive way, and I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I thank you guys for giving. You guys have been faithful supporters as well of us and our family while we've been there, and I'm telling you, it's a huge blessing. When I met Corey, we were selling all our stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to raise enough money. And then Corey walks up to me, and and that's when I got connected to you, and you guys really helped us out. So it's been awesome. It's been awesome.
Well, good deal. Corey, you got any last words before we close this thing out?
Just we love you. We love you, and we're your biggest cheerleaders over here. You know, cheering you on, praying for you, and you know that's the thing. Like, I think God brings people into your life, you know, for seasons, and then He brings people into your life for life. And I truly feel like our friendship's been that way. As soon as we met, it was, you know, we share some trauma together as well, of some life of we've went through, and that's hilarious looking back on it now.
Yeah.
But you know, you're not just a brother in Christ. I look at you as a brother, and we're always going to cheer you on, and we're always going to do everything we can for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So.
All right, listeners, we appreciate y'all spending time with us. As always, just like it says right here on the wall behind me, make sure that everything you do, you lead with a purpose, that divine calling that God has on your life. Lead through that, and it'll make an impact in lives around you and the people around you more than you ever know. I love you, and see you next time. God bless you.